Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle and this is the Belle Perspective, and I am hoping that you had a wonderful holiday. Today is December the 28th as I am recording this video, and so hopefully I'll have it uploaded before the new year, but if not, Happy New Year. I hope that whomever you're bringing in the new year with, whether it's yourself or family or friends, I hope that it is a joyous and prosperous new year for you and all of the people that are connected to you in a positive way. So again, my name is Belle. This is the Belle Perspective, and I like to give my perspective on different things, from books to movies to TV shows. And today we are going to be discussing Kindred. This is a new mini series that it was actually an adaptation of a book by Octavia E. Butler, and she is probably one of the most trailblazing Black authors to tap into the sci-fi arena. So she's super awesome, and so Kindred is this book, or I'm sorry, this story of a woman, and she's time traveling, and there's a lot going on, and I'll give you a little bit of further synopsis of it a little bit later. But I did want to talk about Octavia Butler first, because I do feel like she's such an amazing trailblazer, and a lot of people don't necessarily know all of the things that she's contributed to literary work. So let's hone in on Octavia Butler just real quick, real quick, like, then we'll get into the story, or into just my review. So Octavia Butler was a renowned African-American author who received a MacArthur Genius Grant and Penn West Lifetime Achievement Award for her body of work. She was born in Pasadena, California in 1947. She was raised by her mother and her grandmother, and she was the author of several award-winning novels, including Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, and so much more. So I actually have Parable of the Talents and Parable of the Swords in my Amazon cart, but I did just I have Wild Seed. This book is such a great read. I might do a review on it. Really good. This is Patternist. It's called a Patternist novel. So she has like a series or a trilogy called The Patternist, and this is the first trilogy, I think is what it is. I didn't get the additional ones, but I did read Wild Seed, and it's really good. So anyway, let's talk about Kindred. Okay, so Kindred is the story of a young woman named Dana. She lives in California. She's just turned 26. And so I'm talking about the show itself, not because I haven't read the book. I actually ordered it, and it should be here today. I'm hoping today or tomorrow, because what I hear is that the book is nothing, or they've picked and choose the few things that should go in the book and not inside the show. So I want to read the book to know what the real source material is versus what they put on TV, because some of the things on this episode, on this show, had me mad, and we'll talk about it. So the show is about a young lady named Dana. She's 26 years old. She just moved, again, in the mini series, not according to the book. She just sold a brownstone apartment in New York. She was already wrong with that, because that's sought after property. Okay, so she sold her grandmother's brownstone that her grandmother inherited to her, or she got as an inheritance from her grandmother. Sold a New York brownstone, moved to LA, bought the house online through a virtual tour. Girl, what? And she came to LA so that she could write soap operas, but she doesn't have a job. She doesn't have a job lined up. So she just out here. So I was just like, what are we doing? What are we really doing? Anyway, so the main premise of this story is that Dana transports back into the setting. Current setting is 2016, but when she transports, it's into the antebellum South, which is Maryland. She meets a man named Kevin, again in the miniseries, because it's a little bit different. They've taken a lot of creative turns, a lot of creative liberties within the miniseries. So she meets this guy named Kevin, who's this busboy who was serving her and her uncle and aunt as she broke the news to them that she bought a house in LA. Granted, these are black people in LA. They not thrilled about it. They're like, girl, why? Girl, what? You sold my mother's house on a whim? You didn't say anything, girl, what? No. And she's all like, I can't believe you guys aren't happy for me. And I'm just like, girl, girl, what are we doing? Girl, what are we doing here? Anyway, so she's giving very much impulsive, very much Black Karen. Okay, and it's a lot. At the end of the conversation with her aunt and her uncle, and her aunt is her biological aunt. It's her dad's sister. And then her uncle, Alan, is the man that her aunt married. Alan is ex-LAPD. So he's that kind of guy. He's black, but he that kind of. So after her uncle and aunt pretty much leave her in the restaurant, they offer her a ride, but she keeps saying no. She gets a ride from the I keep calling him busboy, waiter, Kevin, who basically served their food while she was having this exchange with her family. That was another thing. I was like, girl, you getting in a car with this man in a city that you do not know. You do not know who this man is. He gonna take you home. Girl, how do you? I was just like, we taking a lot of liberties that I don't necessarily think that black women would typically take. Like, we doing a lot of things that I don't necessarily know black women would do. I'm just not. I'm trying to figure out why. Okay. So anyway, so she ultimately gets into the car with this guy. He ultimately takes her home. Whatever. Later on that night, she ends up seeing him on Tinder, and they match. They chat a little bit, and then later on that night, she ends up getting transported. And so the first time that they show us her transportation when she transports is when she walks in and she wakes up. And she's hearing this like baby in the background, right? And you're like, well, whose baby is this? And you're like, oh my God, this is not a house. She's looking around like, whose house is this? And you see that it's not like modern. It's not a modern house. There's no electricity, nothing like that. It's real old, right? It looks real old, look 1800, look real 1800-ish. It's giving 1800-ish. So anyway, she hears the baby, and it sounds like the baby is struggling. So she goes over to the baby. She sees the baby laying on its stomach, and it looks like it's gonna die from suffocation. So she flips the baby over, and the baby is able to breathe. And then she hears a conversation going on in the hallway. She walks out, and she sees two women, a black woman and a white woman, talking. White woman is saying, I need to go see my baby, because mind you, the baby is white. The baby that she flipped over was white. The black lady's like, no, you don't need to wake up your husband. You know how he gonna get. He gonna have us all carrying on. I'll go check on the baby. You go back to bed. Dana, who's overhearing the conversation, she was like, oh, the baby was turned on his stomach. And they're like, who is that? Who is that? Like, where did you come from? And Dana's like, it's me. It's Dana. And the lady is like, Dana? And she starts to scream. Now, come to find out, that is Dana's mother, who also was transported years ago when Dana was a kid, disappeared. Now, the story that was told to Dana was that she actually was, that she died in a car crash, but nobody found her body. She died in a car crash with her dad, Dana's dad, and Dana's mother, Olivia. So Dana wakes up and she's like, oh my God. She's in the middle of her living room, right? Thinking that she was sleepwalking. She's like, oh my God, I had a dream about my mom, and my mom tried to attack me. Oh my God, I'm tripping. No, girl, this is very much real. Okay, it is very, very much real. Okay, so her and Kevin go out again. They talk, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm like, girl, you getting too cozy with a dude you don't even know like that, but whatever. They end up sleeping together. After that, they're talking, blah, 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 right? He ends up saying something to her about calling her a princess. Now, mind you, prior to this conversation, she had an argument with her aunt. Her aunt basically was like, you tripping. This is very impulsive. You're being a princess. You need to take care of yourself. This is too much. She got offended by the word princess. Kevin calls her princess. She tells Kevin to get out. In the midst of their argument, telling him to get out, she ends up transporting again. He's like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened? What the hell? So he looking crazy. Now, mind you, I don't understand why he stuck around. She disappeared, I'm disappearing. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm out the door, okay? But he stuck around. Now, that's typical behavior for him because Kevin is a white man. I don't understand a lot of the things that Dana was doing in this movie or in this show as a black woman. There's just some things that are just not characteristically on brand, if you will. So she's transported again. She actually brings the neighbor's cat with her because by accident, because the cat came into the house and jumped in her lap and all this other stuff. And so when she transported, she took the cat with her, right? Okay. So she goes to, this is the second time, but they're not arguing. They're doing something else. I can't remember what it was. She sees a little white boy in the water. Okay, she pulls the white boy out of the water. Little white boy out of the water. He's drowned. She's trying to give him the Heimlich. The same white lady she saw when she first transported is now like, oh my God, don't touch my baby. Now she black now. I mean, the white lady is white and Dana is black. So obviously there's that thing that goes on that's happening in the 1800s, slavery, right? So don't touch my child, don't put your mouth on my kid, blah, 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 going off. She actually saves the boy. Come to find out the boy's name is Rufus. And then with all the hoopla that the mother had started, the father, Rufus's dad, white man, pulls up on Dana while she's transported. Now she's back into the 1800s. He pulls a sawed-off shotgun or some sort of shotgun, and she just starts screaming. And next thing you know, she's transported back to her house. She's standing at the wall screaming. Kevin comes in and sees her and is like, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? She was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm crazy. I'm doing, I'm sleepwalking. And he's like, maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're, they're trying to talk through it. Then that's when he ends up calling her princess, and she's trying to tell him to get out. She ends up disappearing and he sees it. Okay. When I tell you craziness ensues. She ends up coming back. When was this? Oh, she saves him again. I think the house was on fire or something like that. She ends up actually having a conversation with him. She knows his name. She's like, are you Rufus? And he was like, yeah, you're the dead N-word that's been haunting our land. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't do this. I can't do this. You're the dead N-word that haunts our land. She was like, is this real? Is this a dream? He was like, yeah, no, this is real. And they actually basically have a whole conversation. So she ends up going to finding out. She runs into this man named Luke. Luke tells her, hey, are you Dana? If you're looking for Olivia, her house is there. It still doesn't really give me how he knew who she was and how he knew she would need to get to Olivia. They didn't really talk about that. But anyway, she ends up finding Olivia's house, which is her mother. Olivia is completely shocked that she found her. Olivia's like, listen, I've been stuck here for so long. Olivia's actually chopping it up with her. I've been here for so long. I miss completely all of your life. She's like, what does your dad say about me? Dana breaks the news and says, Dad died. And she's like, oh my God. She has that moment. She was like, how old are you? Like, what? And, Dana has to tell her, I'm 26 years old. She's like, I've been here for a very long time. A very long time. She's like, I don't know what happened to me. And her mother's like, how do you not know what happened to you? You flipping back and forth. How do you not know what happened to you or what happens to you? And Dana's like, I can't control it. I don't control it. And so anyway, so the next thing you know, we see a patroller. Now, Dana had ran into that patroller before she got to the house, but he confused her with someone else, so she was able to get away. But that patroller saw the actual woman that he confused Dana with, and he yoked her up. And all three of them went outside, and he tried to attack them, and they ran. He caught up with Dana, tried to assault her, and she scratched him and ended up falling back. She traveled back into her living room. Kevin is looking over her, and she scratches Kevin, and she's freaked out, like, oh my God, I'm crazy. And Kevin's like, no, you are not crazy. I literally saw you. She was like, Like, this is real. Kevin was like, this is real. So the neighbors, and this is just the last piece that I'm going to say, the neighbors came and hearing all the commotion, the yelling and all this other stuff, come to her house. Is everything okay? I'm looking for my cat. And again, it's a real Karen, right? I'm looking for my cat. Is everything okay in there? Is everything all right? Like, ma'am, like, I get it. But you did what you could do, right? You doing a whole lot. Doing a whole lot. Per usual, you know? So tell her, go on about your business. Everything is fine here. We got it. Kevin is like, listen, we need to get out of here. We need to go. We need to get you some help. And as Kevin is trying to open the door to get her out of the house, it starts to happen again. You can see the snow falling, and she transports, and she actually pulls Kevin back with her, and that's the next episode. So we will talk about the next episode in the next video. I'm gonna just give you my overall thoughts. There was a lot going on as far as Dana not really, she was doing things that I was just like, Dana, really? She had a lot to say. I felt like she was just doing a lot with somebody that she just met. And in the second episode, she was doing a lot back in the time frame that she was in. Now, mind you, this is antebellum South. Black people did not have freedom like we should have. She was wilding, okay? We'll talk about that later. Anyway, my name is Belle. This is the Belle Perspective. I am at 50 subscribers now. Thank goodness. Woo-hoo. That was my goal, to reach 50 subscribers by the end of the year. I am a lover of books. If you cannot tell, I have a couple shelves here full of books, and I want to continue to add to that. I've just launched a book club called LITuations. Okay, get it right. LITuations. It's on Meetup. We gather together virtually, so anybody in the country, in the world, can join. I just launched the book Kindred. We're going to be reading that in January, so I'm going to put the information to that down in the description box. So if you want to join me in my book club, LITuations, we already got about 250 members right now. It's on Meetup. I'll drop them information in the description box. But if you'd like to join me, please get down. It's completely free, no obligations. You don't have to do nothing. Just get the book and join me. And I think our first discussion is January the 26th, I think. I can't remember. But anyway, also, if you made it this far in the channel or in this video, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button, okay? Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let me know what you think about the book. Let me know what you think about the show down in the comments. All right, I will talk to you later. Take care.